Hey everyone, it's not exactly 7 o'clock yet, but I'm just trying to get organised. Bingo. That's what I was waiting for. I was trying to get the stupid YouTube widget going, but yep, it is going. I've got to find a better way to do that. Anyway, alright, look, it is 7 o'clock. It's just turned 7 o'clock according to my clock, so shall we do it? Hey guys, welcome along, kia ora koutou. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're going to have a good old chat about space. So see, we've got a few people in already. Hey, Casey's saying, like the t-shirt, I'm going for the casual look to just emphasize that this is a very casual chat about space. Okay, so what we're going to do, well, first of all, if you don't know me, my name is Dave. We might have a few new people joining tonight. This chat session is all very low-key. It's just for us to have a chance to chat about what's happening in the news, what's going on in space, etc. But it doesn't have to be just about the news. It can be anything at all to do with space. So part of the point of it is that I am ill-prepared. I'm doing that on purpose. A big part of this is that I'm hoping that you guys will help me out with the news, and this will be more of a chat rather than me just talking at you. So I have got a few things that we want to talk about tonight because there's a lot going on. Hey, it's been a busy old week in space this week, heaps to talk about. So tonight, tonight New Zealand time. Let me just quickly mention that I'm also planning to do some different time zones here. So if you are from overseas and you are interested in doing this kind of stuff, please let me know what time zones suit you, including letting me know what your time zone is. So especially our UK viewers, I'm hoping to do some more that will suit you guys. Okay, now, the Republic of John is telling me that you're getting some buffering. Okay. Now, this could be an issue. What's happened is that trying to get things like the Zoom going and stuff like that, it has been a problem because of the delay. So I have reduced the latency so it's more of a real-time thing. The problem there is that it does increase the risk of having buffering problems. So hopefully we don't get too much. But look, please do let me know because we need to sort that out. We need to try and find a compromise between the delay and not having the buffering problem. I don't think I can change it during the stream. Pretty sure I can't. So unfortunately, we will just have to live with it tonight if it's an ongoing problem. So speaking of that, part of what we want to do here is the Zoom thing. So see the Zoom details along here. You can join the Zoom meeting if you like. Those are the details, and I'll try and keep an eye on that. And hopefully we can take some people live. And part of the point of that is so that other people can share things. You can share your screen. Hang on, Spaceman Tarian, sorry, is saying not having any problems. Casey, all good here. Thanks, guys. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys have got news or anything else that you want to share, you can come in via Zoom and show me what you want to show me or show everyone. So hopefully we'll be able to do a bit of that. Also, I'm really keen to be having some guest speakers on here. That would be awesome, but we're not going to do that until we've got the whole Zoom thing down pat and we know that it's going to work okay. So we just do need to keep an eye on that buffering thing. Right, so things we can talk about tonight. The Mars 2020, of course. Perseverance, we definitely want to catch up a little bit on that. The Starship, the test that was on this week. Rocket Lab's big announcement, and we're also going to chat about the dearMoon mission. That's about all I'm particularly interested. Well, that's all I've got on my agenda tonight. If there's anything else you want to talk about, go for it. So, got a few people coming in on the comments. Nice. Thanks everyone for talking, for letting me know about the buffering. The Republic of John saying, I found a good online planetarium. Okay, we might have a look at that. John, if you want to, can you drop in the link in the comments? I'm not sure. If you can, give that a try. I'll just let us know what it's called. Ian, just like the good old days down in Motueka. Awesome to have you back, Ian. Good to see you again. Righto, and was it K-Bolt 44? Looking forward to the Rocket Lab announcement. We will definitely talk about that. Okay, so what should we talk about? There's one thing I must not forget, and that is the International Space Station is going pretty close to over New Zealand. So I'm going to interrupt the show, hopefully, in about maybe another 20 minutes or so, and see if we can catch a glimpse of the space station going over New Zealand. Right, Stellarium. Thanks, John. Stellarium. Let's actually sidetrack for a moment. The Republic of John is talking about Stellarium. Now, when you say it was an online planetarium, I'm not aware of any web-based version of Stellarium, but if there is one, let me know. But what the Republic of John is talking about there is Stellarium, the planetarium app that we use all of the time. So this is just a quick view of it here. Let's just speed it up to show you what's going to be happening tonight. It's awesome. I just use it absolutely constantly. You can get it for your phone. You can get it for the desktop. And it's free. And, at least the desktop version is free. I think the phone one actually costs a couple of dollars, but it's worth it. It's awesome. Okay then, so what do we need to talk about? Let's go over Perseverance. To be honest, I don't have an awful lot to update you with on Perseverance, but if some of you have got more news than I have, let me know. So we've had a couple of new pictures. The big news, I guess, is that it has started moving. So that's really good news. It had its first drive, its first mobility test this week. It moved about 6.5 meters in about half an hour. So it moved forward, I think about 4 meters or something, then reversed back around, did just a bit of a test maneuver, and then went forward a couple of meters again. Couple of photos here, not too much yet, of course. We're not expecting too much out of these photos yet. It really is all just testing things out and making sure that everything is working properly. But it's pretty cool to see those wheel tracks. Nice. Okay, so what else is happening here? They've done a whole lot of testing out. I had a couple of notes here. What else have they done? Oh yeah, they've completed a software upgrade, checked instruments. They've deployed the robotic arm, so that's in business. That's a good one. With 2 wind sensors that have come out of the mast, so that's all going as well. And so far, believe it or not, it has actually returned over 7,000 images so far. Doesn't sound like it, does it, when I'm just showing you 2 or 3 images here. You can actually go to the JPL website. I should have got a link for that, sorry. But you can actually look at all the raw images. There's not much in between. They tend to release a small number of processed images like this, and then they've got thousands and thousands of raw images, and it's actually quite hard work sorting through all of them for the interesting one. But if you just go and look on JPL's website and look for the raw images, they shouldn't be too hard to find. So I'm not aware of much else that's happening with Perseverance so far, other than everything is checking out fine and they're getting ready to move. They are moving, sorry. If you're wondering about the helicopter, I believe that's still weeks away, but hopefully we'll have some news on that in the coming days. Casey's pointed out that the phone version of Stellarium costs $5 New Zealand. Thanks for that, Casey. Sean from Queenstown, how are you going? Thanks for joining us. And hi, Grace as well. So unless anyone else had anything about the Perseverance, just butt in. I'm quite happy to be jumping forward and going all around the place here. We'll just see how it goes. There was one other thing. You remember on the parachutes, they had the binary hidden or semi-hidden code on the parachutes. A couple of people have shared this with me. This is quite cool. This is someone's made a website where you can go and put your own words in and make your own version of this. So let's just see if we could put something in there. I wonder how many letters you can get. Can we fit that many in? And then you just, I think you basically just click this button. Yeah, there you go. And you can make your own version of the hidden code on the Perseverance parachute. I thought that was a pretty cool, nice effort from, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who did it. You might, anyway, if you want to do it, you can hopefully see the URL there, or let me know. I can probably paste it in the comments or something. Right, so that was about all from Perseverance. I think, hi Austin, thank you for joining us from Texas. Awesome. Wonder what time is it over there? Must be nighttime, isn't it? You guys still in nighttime over there? Anyway, thanks for joining us. What else have we got to talk about? Actually, no, we're still on the Perseverance. This is only just a little thing, but NASA has awarded one of the contracts for the sample return mission, or the retrieval. Now, a couple of people have got confused about this, thinking that they have finalized the plans. No, they're a long way from that yet. So what have they done? They've awarded the contract for the Mars Ascent propulsion system, and that's gone to Northrop Grumman. So that's just one part of the whole retrieval system. So that's years in the future. We've got a long time to wait before that. But it's progressing a bit at a time. So I think I understand it's going to be about 10 years or something before they expect to actually retrieve them. 12 a.m., Grace. Yikes. That's a good effort. Good on you. Thank you so much for making the effort to join us here. So Starship. We should probably talk about Starship. Shall we do that next? Yeah. Don't know how many of you watched the test, but it was spectacular, wasn't it? We definitely need to have a look at that. So, look, what I'm doing here is I'm actually starting to work on a compilation of the test flights leading up to this. So, this is a work in progress. Going back to SN5, I think I had some audio on some of these. I thought this would be quite useful, especially if we ever want to go back and talk about any of the history of this or how we got there. We can go back and I'll just have them all on one video so we can go back and see how they all went. So this is going right back to August last year with number 5, which was just a single Raptor engine and just did a 150-meter hop. So this is September last year. This is, again, one Raptor engine, 150 meters up, but I think it was a bit more of a translation, wasn't it, with this one? I can't quite remember, to be honest, and then just came back down again. So, yeah, that was September last year with SN6. Then I think 7 was one that failed on the ground, didn't it? Like, as you guys know, I've been out of touch with the news recently. I might come back to talking about that later. I'm playing a bit of catch-up at the moment, to be honest. But anyway, this was SN8, which was the first one, wasn't it, with 3 Raptor engines and got up to the 12.5 kilometer altitude. So, oh, look, isn't this beautiful stuff? So this is when it started doing all of the maneuvers and stuff that we've started getting used to with the fins, the belly flop maneuver and coming in to land, the back flick maneuver to come down and try and land back on the ground. So what did happen with this one? This was SN8. So it did everything properly. There was low pressure, wasn't it? Yeah, this was the low pressure in the fuel tank, created engine issues and resulted in a hard landing, to say the least. And that was how that one ended. So that was SN8 through to this year, SN9. Again, 3 Raptor engines, 10 kilometer. So everything went really well with this one, again, up until the very ending. But at this point, well, even now, you know, not too concerned with the landing thing. At this point, they were testing the maneuvers and everything else. I'll get back to the comments in a sec, actually, and see if anyone else wants to comment or has commented on any of these earlier tests. So now, what did one of the engines fail to fire properly in this one? And we had another hard landing on the ground. SN9, one of the engines failed to ignite, resulting in a hard landing. That's what my notes say. So there you go. That's where we were before this week's test. Now, let me just quickly catch up on the comments here. Right, Austin's saying, yes, currently 12 a.m. watching from outside the SpaceX launch site. No way. That is so cool. You're literally here right now. That is so awesome, Austin. What a place to be right now. Historic. Awesome. So you saw SN10. Wow. That must have been unbelievable. I'm so jealous. Check that out, everyone. Austin actually got to see this in person. Right. Cabot's saying we have put a great effort in with those unfavorable time zones. You have indeed. Right. SN4 blew up on the pad. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, RIP SN4. SN10 looks like something that Dan Dare would fly. Thanks, Casey. It's just something else to watch these things, eh? Every time you watch them, even though we're just doing it via video stream, it just seems unreal. Yeah, so it's just unbelievable. Anyway, let's get to what's happened this week. I'm sure most of you guys have seen this. So there's my alarm. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I just set my alarm to keep an eye on what's happening with the space station. It's not there yet, so I'm just going to give it another 10 minutes, I think, because I'm just keeping an eye on where the space station is. It's out over south of Australia right now. So I reckon 10 minutes, maybe 10, yeah, hopefully. We'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, what were we saying? I can't even remember what I was talking about. We were talking about, no, sorry, where were we? SN10. Let's just watch it, shall we? I think I was saying that I've been cutting it down, so this is only just the few highlights because you guys would have watched it live anyway. But for those of you who didn't, it launched perfectly, or they had the abort the first time actually. So I was actually in the middle of a Zoom session with a bunch of scouts during the first attempt, but it aborted. And I actually came back later and just happened by pure fluke to catch it. I was watching Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, but look at this, look at it coming back down. This is what I'm talking about. Every time I look at this, I just cannot get my head around the majesty of the whole thing. It's just incredible. It does look like something off Dan Dare, doesn't it? It's just incredible. It never gets old. So it's coming in, fires up the engines. What did it do? It fired up all three engines, didn't it? Then dropped one of them cut off, and then the other one. And then we've got all that bit of leakage coming out the side there, which no one seemed to be too concerned about at the time. And I was thinking people who know more about me than this seemed very relaxed about the whole thing, even though it looked a bit alarming to me. But it did come in and it did land. Spectacular. Cheers all round. Unbelievable. Still a little bit of flames coming out there. A little bit of a worry. But they brought the fire truck out, and they appeared to have extinguished it, didn't they? It seemed to have gone out and everything seemed to be fine. You can see it on a bit of a lean there. So as I understand it, the legs didn't deploy properly. Only about half the legs deployed, didn't they, I think? But that's actually, I don't think anyone's too worried about that, eh? That's only a temporary solution, what they're doing with the legs at the moment. So this was a success. It was a big success. We'll get back to what happened next in a minute. Yeah, on a bit of a lean. It was a bit of a hard landing. There was a slight bounce when it landed, but it did land. It did stick the landing, so we're happy with that. It achieved everything it needed to. Before I go on, let's just see what everyone else is saying. Right, Austin's saying you've been documenting the development since 2018 with Starhopper. So we were following it here back when we were doing our Space Dave live show. So we were tuning in with the Starhopper and sort of all around that time. Then a bunch of things happened. I got sidetracked with some other things. COVID came along, and unfortunately, I have been out of the loop a little bit for the last year or so or more. So I did kind of lose track of it a little bit. And as I say, I'm playing catch up now. So I'm hoping that all you guys can help me catch up on what's going on. We do love your work, Austin. It's amazing. Look, I'm going to have to catch up with you about exactly what you're doing there, Austin. This looks fascinating to me. Right, the Republic of John. On an unrelated note, I would call Noah's Space Ark Gemini's Sanctuary. Thanks for that. Austin's saying Elon stated that SN11 will land with... Oh, right. Yes, I did see that today. So they're going for 2 engines this time. Yeah, that looks... Or next time, sorry. That looks interesting. Now, I understand that SN11 is all still go. I saw a couple of pictures and videos of some preparation for SN11. So any interesting information or updates that you've got for us would be awesome. Carol, your internet is rubbish. You'll have to watch later. Look, sorry about that, Carol. I think that may be part of the buffering issue. Maybe I need to just ease off or give it a little bit more latency. Drat. Anyway, let's talk about what happened next on the... I mean, you all know what happened next. You've all seen the news. So what happened? I was just saying before, I was... in a Zoom session with some other people. We were going to watch it. It got aborted. I just carried on with my day. I came back. I still had the Everyday Astronauts feed up here, and I just went to click on it, and it was counting down to the launch. And I thought I was watching a delay because I hadn't really been paying attention to it during the aborted one. And then it launched, and I'm like, oh, what? Hey, is this live? It's happening. It really is happening. So I was so stoked. I could have missed it. So I sat down and watched the whole thing. It was awesome. And then after the landing, I went away and did a couple of other things and came back and just happened to get back in time and be watching it when the next bit happened. So I was so lucky. I was so stoked with it. So anyway, this is still from the SpaceX official feed here, and everything looks pretty cool there. I'm not sure where the fire truck is here, or where we're up to here. I think maybe the fire was still going on the other side, or was it before it arrived? Sorry, I'm not exactly sure there. But anyway, I'm just going to steal. Oh, hang on. Where have I got it? I've got it down here somewhere. Right. So this is Tim Dodd's feed here. Well, let's have his audio because this was classic. I just came in and I was just standing right here as I am now watching this, and it was just so beautiful. I love Tim.
I can't believe that. We need to start dumping footage, don't we? We need to start dumping footage. Oh God, it just blew up. It just blew up. It just blew up. What? 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 What just happened?
Oh, they just felt the shockwave there, did they?
What?
Yeah. Look, it was just so cool. Tim's awesome. I think his reaction was the best part of watching that. It was just so much fun. I mean, obviously we didn't want it to blow up. No one's happy about that, but it was all in a bit of fun, I think. And because it was a success, it had stuck the landing. I think we're all happy. But seeing that explosion was just something else. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. So yeah, that's what happened. So as I understand it, well, actually, hang on. Oh, there was another bit that I wanted to show you there. Sorry, wasn't there? This was from Tim's a later video that he published. Let me just go back. This was one of his closer views. Here you go. Look at that. Yeah. Hasn't Tim come on a long way with his coverage with this stuff? He's not the only one, of course. Obviously, we know there are others covering this and doing a really good job. Anyway, what a lot of fun. Here's another view, slowed down. Spectacular. A lot of people are referring to this as the fastest turnaround yet for another flight. Unscheduled. Just a reminder, if anyone wants to join in the Zoom, the details are down there. If you want to try joining in on Zoom, that would be absolutely awesome. Look at it. Spectacular stuff. There we go. So that was a bit of fun watching the explosion. So all the best for SN11. So what do I know about it? Not much, really. The landing legs didn't deploy properly, and as Austin has pointed out, they are going for trying to land with 2 Raptors next time. There was just one going this time. So, yep, that was that. So, hey, Alan, Wendy, hey guys, nice to see you in again. Thanks for joining us. I don't think was there anything else about the SN11? Not specifically that I had, but if anyone else wants to pitch in, go ahead. Now, what else has SpaceX been doing? They had another Starlink launch, didn't they? The one that was delayed a lot, but that has launched now. And of course, we've got the Crew 2 planned for April. So that's not too far away now. So this is the Falcon 9, of course, going back to the Falcon 9 with a mission to the space station. And that will be taking these 4 astronauts to the space station. So we will probably cover the launch of that, I would imagine. Certainly be following it and looking forward to it a lot. Now, I have a special interest in this one because one of the astronauts there, Aki, I happen to have been lucky enough to spend some time with Aki. This is going back a few years ago now, but I'm just going to show off because this is my autographed photo from Aki to Dave, wishing me all the best with my space museum. This must have been a few years ago now. I can't remember when it was, but he was wishing me all the best getting started with my space museum. So it must be going back a few years. So I was lucky enough to spend about 4 days working with Aki on a thing that the Japanese space agency had organized. Oh, I missed it. Oh, I got that wrong, didn't I? Oh, terrible, Dave. No good at all. I missed the space station going over New Zealand. I was too slow. Terrible. I just might quickly have a look at the feed because I actually suspect that it probably wasn't going properly anyway. I think they had a bit of an issue with it, so maybe it didn't matter. I'm just going to quickly check just in case we have got anything from there. No, we haven't. Sorry about that, everyone. That was a complete stuff up on my part. What else do we want to talk about? Yes, so that was the this crewed Dragon mission coming up. We will get back to that. Right, so the Republic of John saying it's okay, it comes every few hours. Of course, it doesn't go over New Zealand every few hours. It does come in clusters. I'll tell you what I can do. I'll show you what I have got here. This is a video that I recorded earlier today. So this was about 2:30 this afternoon today. You can see the map. I've just inlaid it on the top left there. And this was going over the South Island of New Zealand. So you can see it on the bottom right there. This is the South Island. It was a bit cloudy. You couldn't really see an awful lot. But you can see a bit of it. It's coming more into view. Now, you remember back in the days of the Space Dave live show, we used to use this quite a lot, and I often put together little compilations from this feed, but the HDev high definition camera feed from the space station did reach end of life. So we don't actually have that feed anymore. But earlier, I think it was earlier this year, not that long ago anyway, they have replaced that. Well, they didn't replace that camera, but they've started using another camera on the station. It's a beautiful camera. Look at this view. It's fantastic. The only downside is that it is only one camera and it just does point pretty much straight down. So when you're getting a nice view of it, it's fantastic. But it's not the same view that we used to have. You remember the old feed had several cameras, one looking forward, one looking back, and one looking down. So we don't get that anymore. It's just that one view there. But if you just go back to the same place that the old HDev one was, wherever you find that on Ustream or NASA's website or wherever, at least there is a feed going there now. The other old feed is still going as well. That's just not as good quality. So Grace is asking, oh, hang on, let me just go back a sec to make sure I've got everything here. Yes, I did lose focus there, Grace. Sorry. Oh, right. Spacementarian saying, don't worry, the feed was out anyway. Thanks for that. When I did check before, I did notice it was out. So loss of signal. Yep, that's what I had. So yeah, we didn't miss anything. So anyway, that was a view of that one. Really, really nice views when you do get it, but I do miss that nice wide view out looking forwards. That was a spectacular view. Anyway, at least we've still got something. What else do we want to talk about? Rocket Lab. We need to talk about Rocket Lab, don't we? We're still going to talk about Rocket Lab and the dearMoon mission and perhaps anything else that anyone else wants to talk about. So Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab made a very big announcement, and I've got their video here, but I'm just going to zap forward because all the first part of it was just sort of some historical stuff. So let's just, I think about 2 minutes. This will only take a couple of minutes to watch the announcement from Rocket Lab. Now, I'm sure all our viewers will know who Rocket Lab is. Just in case anyone doesn't, perhaps from overseas, Rocket Lab it's an American company. I had an argument with someone online about this today. It was a company that started in New Zealand. The launch facility that they've been using is in New Zealand. That is going to stay here, but it is an American company now. But anyway, let's have a look at the video. Let's have a look at the announcement.
When we say we're going to do something at Rocket Lab, we do it. Not just once, but over and over again. The Electron rocket defined a number of industry firsts. First carbon fiber rocket to orbit, in fact. Somebody told me once that was going to be impossible. Then it's reusable. But then there's the engines. The Rutherford rocket engine, the very first 3D printed rocket engine ever to go into orbit. And in fact, also the very first electric pump cycle rocket engine ever produced. And of course, we didn't stop at rockets. We started building satellites too. Satellites to go to low Earth orbit, satellites to the Moon, to Mars and Venus and beyond. And there's a lot more to come. But first, I've got to take care of some business here. There's a lot of things at Rocket Lab that we said we were going to do that we've done, and a few things at Rocket Lab that we said we would never do, which we have also done. So I really think with this project, it's about time I finally ate the hat. Edwardians are all doubt. This hat is not tasty. But there's some things we said we would never do. But we're going to build a big rocket. It's called Neutron, and behind me is just the fairing. This is a purpose-built mega constellation building machine for all the mega constellations of today and of tomorrow. It's an 8-ton class launch vehicle, and of course, it's reusable. But one thing that's probably more exciting and most unusual for Rocket Lab is that this vehicle is capable of human spaceflight. Launching 2024.
Don't you love it? What a character. Isn't he good? Now, I don't want to swear to this. I want to make sure I've got this right, but Cobalt 44 is saying it was founded by a Kiwi, so it's a Kiwi company. Now, my understanding is that Peter Beck is on record. I've got this very clear memory in my head of seeing him on a video saying, for clarification, it is an American company and it's because of where the money is. It's where the investment came from. Now, we've got Rocket Lab guys that employees that watch this. So let me know if I've got this wrong. My understanding is that because of the investment and the structure and everything, that Rocket Lab is officially an American company. But I don't want to absolutely swear to that, just in case I have got something wrong. But whatever. I mean, it does still stand that this is a New Zealand enterprise. Absolutely. You know, it was started in New Zealand. Peter Beck's a Kiwi, and we will always think of it as a New Zealand company, no matter what the technicalities are. Now, of course, they are getting their new launch facility ready in the east coast of the States, and we look forward to that. It's going to be awesome. So, a big rocket from Rocket Lab. Wow. I've got to be honest, I did not see that one coming, certainly not at this stage. I had sort of imagined that the Electron would keep them happy for quite some time and that they would be continuing to establish themselves in that market. Did not see at this stage. So Spaceman Terrium, you came in and commented on one of the must be one of the last videos I did with some questions that I've got right here. I'm not going to answer them because I don't know the answer. But what did you say here? You had what engines? Will they be electric? 4 or 6 engines? Is that what we saw there? What's it made of? How will it get to the landing platform? Oh, right, you didn't see an RCS, a reaction control system there. So is it possible that it will use thrust vectoring? The engine's tilted. What is the second stage? The segmented sections along the rivets. Will Photon go on this rocket? And lots more. That's the thing. There's lots and lots of questions, aren't there, with this? And I guess hopefully we'll get the answers in the coming months. I do feel compelled to point out the human-rated thing. That's really just amazing news. That's really cool that they are going... this is going to be rated for humans. But it is worth pointing out that that doesn't mean that once this rocket has built, you can put people in it and send them into space. They will presumably need a capsule to go in. And that just hasn't really been mentioned at this stage. Now, I can't think of any other company or any other capsules that are likely to go on this. Can anyone else? Can anyone else think of a capsule that could or would go on top of this? Bearing in mind that Rocket Lab's competition is unlikely to want to put one of their capsules on one of these. But yeah, I'm not sure. Let me know if you guys have got some thoughts on what exactly the vehicle would be with the people in it that would go on this rocket. Do you think that Rocket Lab themselves are planning on a capsule as well? Gee, that seems ambitious at this stage, doesn't it? But who knows? I didn't see the big rocket coming. Now, when we say big rocket, we are also talking, this would be medium lift, wouldn't it? You would call this, I think. So it's sort of more along the lines of the Falcon 9, I guess. It's definitely not in the class of the Starship or anything. I believe it's about 40 meters. Someone correct me if I've got that wrong. That the Neutron, Rocket Lab's new Neutron, they're looking at about 40 meters, which is over twice the height of the Electron. And I can't remember the width of the payload. Was it 4.5 meters? Did I get that right? Again, sorry, I don't have all of these figures at hand, but someone correct me if I'm wrong. We've got plenty of people who know exactly what they're talking about here. So, yeah, just tell me. Right, hang on, let me just catch up on these comments. Casey, it does indeed make you proud. I'm really proud of what Rocket Lab has done. I'm talking to people overseas most days these days, and I'll take any chance I can to get mention of Rocket Lab in there. It is just so cool. Now, Spaceman Terran says, guys, they are listing on the NASDAQ. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about that. Right, so you think it's a good investment? And the Republic of John is saying the Proton. Up next, the Proton. Right, so let's talk about investing in Rocket Lab. Now, I've never really been a shares investor, but I have meant to in the past. I keep meaning to get on board maybe with Starlink or some of the other aerospace companies. I always thought it would be nice to have a bit of a go. So I thought, yeah, I will look into this and I'll see what I can do. So I looked around to try and find out exactly how the whole thing works, and I got conflicting information. So the first thing I got was that you can't, well, this is what I was told initially, that you can't invest in Rocket Lab just yet, but you're going to be able to. In fact, if you go to the Hatch website, it says how to buy shares in Rocket Lab with Hatch. Basically, you're just signing up on this site for notifications for when you can do it. However, with a little bit more investigation, I did try and sort out what was happening with this company that was set up to acquire Rocket Lab. So that company already exists, and from what I could tell, you can go and buy shares in that company now, so you've effectively got shares in Rocket Lab. So the company, let me just go and find it. I've got it here somewhere. It's called Vector Acquisition Corporation. So that company was set up, as I understand it, to acquire Rocket Lab later. So I went and bought some shares in it. I used Sharesies, and I went and got myself some shares in Vector Acquisition Corporation on the assumption that later on they will be acquiring Rocket Lab. So in effect, I'm investing in Rocket Lab right now. Any of you guys who understand more about how this stuff works, tell me if I've made a mess of this, but I think I've done this correctly. I do note down the bottom there, risk level. It appears to be at the highest risk level. I don't care. I'm just keen to be on board. Now, what's everyone saying about this? Now, right. First of all, Spaceman Terran saying, I don't think they'll build a capsule. I think they may just do some deal to launch to ISS crew and resupply for NASA with NASA or other company capsule. Okay. Proton's already a rocket. It has, true. Photon. Did I say Proton when I meant Photon before? I might have done, sorry. So crowdfund to buy out Vector AC. That would be such a Kiwi thing to do, wouldn't it? And Grace is saying, I thought I had read Rocket Lab was going for more human capacity. So yeah, this isn't a huge rocket, but well, Peter's already said that it will be capable of taking humans. But this is just the rocket part of it. You can't put humans just in that bit. They need to be in something. I assume that that's what's going on here. I don't think I've missed anything there, that you would actually still need a capsule to go on top of their rocket. Okay, so that was the investment thing. I definitely wanted to talk about that. Now, the other thing was, I didn't get myself ready for this, but let's go and have a look at it. We'll go and I'll just bring up Rocket Lab's rocketlabusa.com. If we go and have a look at their website, boy, these guys are hiring a lot. So where are we? So look, and hang on, this will be all of their locations. So of course, a lot of their jobs that they are looking for are in the States. So let's first of all just look at, so this is just Auckland. This is just the jobs that they have got going in Auckland. There's heaps of them. So there's a whole lot of positions. Most of them are engineering positions, as you would expect, but there are a few other things as well there. So if you're keen to work for Rocket Lab, get on board and get your application in. I always enjoy meeting people who work at Rocket Lab. I've had a few come into the Space Centre here now and have a chat about it. And it just, it's so awesome to meet all of these people who are just, I won't say just, who are just average Kiwis, basically, just people who had a job and realised that there was an opening at Rocket Lab that met their skill set, that there was an alignment there. And next minute, they're working for a rocket company. And most of them can't believe their luck. They're very excited about it, really happy people, as you would be. And it's just so awesome that something like that has happened in New Zealand. Spacementarian, I'm personally going to wait until it's listed under its own tag. Okay. So I don't know enough about how shares work, really. That kind of made sense to me, but I just wanted to be in with something right now. Now, I didn't put all my money that I've set aside for this into it right now. So if anyone can help clarify what the difference would be between getting shares in this acquisition corporation versus when Rocket Lab actually comes out, goes public itself. I was just a little bit worried that the price might go up too much by them. Hang on. Grace is asking, what do I think about Spartan School? I'm sorry, Grace. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there. If I could get you to clarify that. Now, and Spacementarian saying, if Elon can ruin the lives of some Wall Street bankers with a tweet, I'm sure New Zealand can buy back Rocket Lab with some effort. The problem with New Zealand is that we're so small. That's our problem, isn't it? That's basically why Peter had to go offshore in the first place, to get the investment capital, I think. Now, I see a lot of people have been whining about that in the media, including some journalists complaining about why New Zealand didn't back Rocket Lab when they could have done at the start. I can see that, and it does frustrate me a small amount, but at the same time, I just don't think it was ever that realistic. My understanding was the amount of capital that they needed was just more than you could realistically expect to get out of New Zealand. And it wasn't mum and dad investors that really got the capital, and was it? It was companies and things, and grants from NASA and stuff. We're talking an awful lot of money here. Right, so Spacementarian saying, you think I did the right thing? Well, that's nice, thank you. But I don't really know much about the shares thing either. Yeah, same here. I'm in my mid-50s, and I think this is the first time I've ever bought shares in my life. It took a New Zealand rocket company to do it. Right, so now you're saying ACC put capital in, but mostly just Americans, right? Okay. So was there anything else about Rocket Lab? The investment, the jobs and stuff. I wish I had more to say about the Neutron, but at this stage, I don't really have any more information. So, okay, well, thank you for that comment about getting the shares. I'll let you know how they go. It took me a couple of days to get organised, which was a bit of a shame. The prices went up in the time that it took me to get my act together. That was a bit of a shame. Let's talk about this thing. This is something that we talked about back in, it must have been 2019 with the Space Dave live show. This is the dearMoon mission. Now, do you remember this one? This was the guy whose name I always forget. Where is this? Here you go. Yusaka Maezawa. Apologies if I've got that wrong, but I think that's close enough. So this is the guy, the artist guy who bought all of the spots on the SpaceX mission to go around the moon. And he wants to take 8 people with him. So you got to love it. You got to love it. I was, like most people, somewhat skeptical, I guess, when it first came out. And then it sort of went up and down, didn't it? Because he came out with a tweet sometime later saying that he had no money. So I sort of assumed that that meant that this mission was off, but it definitely seems to be back now. So basically, yeah, it's a flyby or just going around the moon and back to Earth again. The idea is that he's going to take 8 people on this mission. Did I say Falcon 9? It's not Falcon 9, is it? It's Starship that he's going to be using for this. So that's an issue, first of all. Starship's actually got to work. He's going to take 8 people around there, and I'm going to be one of them, assuming that I do win my spot on the competition here, which I think should be no problem. So me and 7 other people are going to be going around the moon. Now, I wasn't going to bother putting in an application for this because I've tried entering competitions before, and actually, to be honest, it's just a lot of work. But Tammy, if you're watching, Tammy put a message on my Facebook page. I think it was today, wasn't it? Was it today or yesterday? Encouraging me to have a go. So I thought, why not? I'll put in the thing. So, yep, I've signed up, got my thing back. I had to put a little profile picture in there. So I'm at least in the running. If anyone else wants to have a go, I think you've got till 14th of March to get your application in. Now, at this stage, all you do is you're pretty much just putting in your email and your contact details and saying, I want to be counted. I don't really know what the process is after this. In all seriousness, I do not expect to make even the first cut out of this one. From what I can see of what he's looking for in his passengers, I don't think I'm the right fit, unfortunately. But whatever. Yeah, if you're not in, you're definitely out. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Hey, Jim, thank you for joining. So Mr. K-Bolt 44, so Mr. Maezawa going to crowdfund for crewmates. He's paid, well, apparently he's just paid for it all. That's my understanding, is that he's wealthy enough that he's just bought all the tickets on the flight, and it's just a competition. You basically put your name down, but you have to convince him that you're the right person, obviously. Now, initially, he was looking for artists, and I think that is still technically what's going on here. He does want artists, but he has said that he's making that more flexible, and if you think of yourself as an artist, then that's enough. But there are some other criteria. You have to show that you're doing something for the good of humanity, and there's a few other things there. I think I do some good things. I think I'm a good person. I just don't think I'm quite in the same league as what he's imagining here. But we'll see. As I say, you don't know if you don't try. Casey, do you know much about the next crew to land on the moon? The first woman, for example, I can't seem to find much. No, I have not actually heard any news recently about that. I used to joke about it back in the Space Dave Live days, didn't I? About how NASA could not talk about it without using that specific phrase. Now, what was it? It was the next people. No, was it the next men and the first woman on the moon? It was a very specific word-for-word phrase that they always used every single time. Obviously, everyone had a directive to use only those exact words. And it started getting a little bit silly, really. But I haven't heard anything else. So tell me if someone knows if there's been any progress on the astronaut selection program for Artemis. But I'm not aware. I haven't heard anything else. Like I keep saying, I need to be catching up on the news. I have spent the last 18 months or so basically just worrying about keeping the place going here and whatnot. I have got a lot. I've got way behind on the news, and I'm having to play catch up. This is where you guys come in. This chat session here is supposed to be about you guys telling me about the news as well. Remember, you can do it on Zoom. You can join the Zoom meeting if you want to. You can share your screen. You can come on. You can talk about news. You can show me what's been happening, point out where I'm wrong on something, and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so now I'm not quite sure about the spelling here, whether that's an I or a L. IOUC 1980. Will a woman ever walk on the moon? Absolutely. NASA has committed to having a woman, at least one woman, being part of the next crew. This is the Artemis mission from NASA, and they have said that there will be a woman, at least one woman, on that mission. I'm terrible at typing. Artemis. Let's just see if we can find anything on the NASA website and just see if they've got any updates or anything. This is the NASA website talking about Artemis. Let's just scroll down and see if there's any updates or anything. We are going to the moon. Okay, how are we going? We've talked about this before. This is all the different parts of it. Mission patches. I don't know who most of those people are. Latest updates. I don't see anything particularly new there. Is there anything else? Let's just see if there is any other big news there. First woman and next man. Thank you, Casey. Okay. Nothing is jumping out at me there. Kennedy prepares for first flight of SLS and Orion for moon missions. Now, when's that due to go? That's let's just have a quick look, shall we? This is terrible that I'm so far behind on the news. I promise you guys I am making an effort to try and catch up and get myself back up to speed again. It's going to take me too long to read all of that. If anyone else wants to give us a quick summary of where they're up to, that would be fantastic. Right, Spacementarian just did my dearMoon submission. Thanks for reminding me. Good on you. Remember everyone, you haven't got long. We've only got less than a week or something to get your application in. dearMoon, that's what you're looking for. In fact, what's the website? Let me just go back to that. It's dearmoon.earth. dearmoon.earth. There's the website there. So it's actually pretty straightforward. It only takes a minute to put in your application. So yeah, the initial screening by March 21st. So by March 14th, you've got to get it in. Then they're only giving themselves a week for the initial screening. That, unfortunately, is when I expect to be out of the running. I honestly don't even think I'm going to make the first cut. But that's interesting. They're doing the initial screening based on what? Your name, your email address, and your profile picture. I think that's pretty much all I gave them. So they're going to screen me based on my name, what email address I use, and what I look like. Well, that's not good. I think my chances have just gone down. Okay. Right, Casey, yeah, I think it drove us all mad. It did. It was getting a little bit silly. They could have at least given them a few different versions of the phrase to use. It was Spacementarian. It was also you that reminded me to get my Mars 2020 name on the chip. So, good. I'm so glad to hear that. So hopefully lots of you guys had your name on Mars 2020. There's a little chip in there somewhere. I can't remember where it is exactly, actually, but it's somewhere on the rover. Is a whole bunch of names that we managed to get on there. Okay. Alan's saying that's bizarre, Dave. Right. Anyway, that was all of the news things I had on my notes, I think. So we're probably going to wrap this up fairly shortly. Grace saying that you do lots of good things. Thank you so much, Grace. That is really nice of you to say that. I do try my best. And I think we do a good job here at the Space Centre. It's not just me. There's lots of people that help out with all of this sort of stuff. And we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of selfish element to it, but I think we do a lot of good work as well. I just don't think we're quite in the right league to get into this. But as I've just said, if their initial screening's only a week later, I'm not really sure how they're even doing the screening. Anyway, now, look, for the Jemima Puddle Duck, nice to have you with us. Hi. You've arrived just in time for us to be thinking about wrapping it up, unless there's something else that people want to talk about. Now, remember, this doesn't just have to be about the news. There's all sorts of things that I would love to talk about when it comes to space. In fact, here's an example. I've been getting a lot of flack from the flat earthers recently. They seem to come in waves. I have this thing where whenever I post pictures on our Facebook page and things like that, especially like what we saw before of the space station over in New Zealand, I get a little flood of the flat earthers coming in and giving me grief. I'm actually okay about talking about it. If anyone wants to talk about the details of how the flat earth works, it's actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of aspects to that whole argument about how things work and why we know that it's round. I had a guy in here just yesterday talking mostly about the moon hoax theory, but also the flat Earth. And he was saying that someone he knows keeps coming at him with all of these questions. And although he thinks that we did go to the moon, he doesn't know how to answer those questions. And it's the same with the flat earther. Now, you would think that if you've got a flat earther coming to you and saying, I think the Earth's flat, you'd think that you could win that argument pretty quickly, wouldn't you? It's not that easy. They'll come up with some challenges that you don't know the answer to. They've actually caught me out a few times with just questions about, well, why is it like this? How does that work? And I saw this picture of such and such. And I've had to go away and research it before I figured it out myself. But anyway, it does make you think. It makes you think a lot about how we know that things are the way they are and how things work. So it's actually more interesting than you might think. So that's just one thing. We can talk about anything at all to do with space. Now, Alan and Wendy, do you have a live audience at any time? I know that you guys are going to be keen on this. So Wendy and Alan used to come and join us regularly. When we used to do the Space Dave live show, we would have a live audience. We'd actually have it all set up. And out here to my left, this is a camera view looking out there, and we'd have that all set up with a live audience. At this stage, to be honest, I am not thinking about that for reasons that I won't go into. It's not off the cards altogether, but just for now, unfortunately, it's not a thing that we are looking at. But who knows what? I'll tell you one thing: if we can get enough people watching, that will make a big difference, and that would help. Thanks, Casey. Good to see you again. Hopefully, we'll see you again. Oh, yeah, it'd be awesome if we could see you up here again. I know it's a long trip for you. Now, Terrian's saying it's pretty sad that people think that we didn't go to the moon, yeah, and that Elon will be the only reason we get back to the moon due to his supposed prompting of NASA. Yeah, I just can't believe that the moon hoax theory has stuck around for so long. I think it's a really good example of how people just, they won't actually look for the real answers, because it doesn't take much Googling to realize why the flags was supposedly waving. In fact, it wasn't. Why there are no stars in the sky, to learn about how the radiation works and why it wouldn't kill them and all that kind of stuff. It's so quick and easy to answer those questions. So people who think we didn't go to the moon, it's a really good example of how they have made effectively zero effort to answer those questions. They've just seen a problem and jumped straight to a conclusion. That the fact that it was so long ago, that hoax theory has been going for decades, and it still won't die. It's the conspiracy theory that just won't die. Terry's saying, I love how you still have that camera despite not having a live audience. I actually still do use that camera sometimes. When I'm doing Zoom sessions, for example, I do Zoom sessions with schools and scout groups and things like that. And if there's something I want to do a demonstration where I need a little bit more space, I will just cut to that camera out there where I've got a bit more room to do something, and then just come back to this one. So I probably will just leave it there. Jemima Puddleduck, this is actually awesome. A few months ago, we did a Zoom with you. With your scout troop. Have you got time to tell me which was the scout group that you were with? There's a good chance it was from the UK. Most of the scouts that we do have been from the UK, although we have done them from other places around the world as well. K-Bolt 44, in a world where a lot of human information is available at our fingertips, it's sad to see so many not looking into things. Isn't that the truth? Yep, you absolutely hit the nail on your head. You've got access to all the sum of human knowledge and a phone that you carry around in your pocket, and you don't bother to spend 30 seconds learning how something works. It never ceases to amaze me how people will have a question like, why can't you see the curvature of the Earth? And they've obviously never Googled, why can't you see the curvature of the Earth? Why are there no stars in all the space photos? Just Google it. Actually ask the question. Instead of thinking that you've discovered some amazing secret, just go and ask. It's all right there. Right, is it Penal? I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that. Sorry, Jemima Puddle Duck. Have I got another meet? I think I might have another one with someone from your area just coming up. I think I'm not entirely sure about that. But thank you so much, and thank you for coming along and being part of this as well. It's nice to see some of you guys coming along. Help me spread the word. And look, but I was saying earlier on, I'm going to do some of these sessions in time zones that are more suitable for people overseas, especially in the UK. So feel free to comment and let me know when would be a good time, what day of the week, and what time, and mention what time zone you're in. That's for anyone. Okay. Thank you, Alan. You'll be ready and waiting in the meantime. Right now, the other thing, of course, with you guys is the telescope thing. I just keep apologizing to you guys, but sorry, quick update. I just got a call from my main telescope supplier. We're expecting our next shipment, the first shipment since COVID, in about mid-April, hopefully. So it keeps getting delayed. When we get that next shipment of telescopes in, that's when I'm going to try and plan to have a telescope evening here. You can see possibly over in the background there, that's where we normally have our lineup of telescopes for sale. We're running right down. Everyone bought them up during the lockdown, and there was big delays at the factories and stuff. Anyway, I need to get going. I think England days. Yep, I think that's about it for now. We've been going for an hour. So thank you everyone who has joined in. We are going to... I don't know if sorry, I just thought my feed's just dropped out. Anyway, look, I'm going to wrap it up anyway. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been awesome having you here. Help me spread the word, because we need to have more people watching this and more people joining in. That's all I'm going to say. It's been awesome. We'll catch you all next time. Thanks, everyone. See ya.